Hey, episode 13. Welcome back, everybody. Ski with Robbie is back, back going. November 2024 right now. um, yeah, I had my best friend's daughter was talking to me on the phone, so I'm making this for you, Tiffany. About fitting boots. People get a lot of brand new boots this time of year, and I'll just give you some information what I do, and we'll go from there. So, you get a brand new boot. This is mine from last year. It's got a couple of rub marks on it from the straps hanging down, but that's okay. It's just normal wear and tear on them. The new boots are very light compared to the older style boots. This boot is probably, I don't know, a pound heavier or something like that. So the old boots, my old boots anyway, they have a lace up on the inside and a lace up out here. This one pulls you down and back. This one holds everything. The tongues are quite a bit thicker. The new boot, this is actually a plastic, a PVC kind of, not PVC, whatever, foam injected plastic. So it's a lot more rigid. This is one of the most rigid boots on the market. I always like a stiff boot, so that's just what I have. But Tiffany was the length of the boot. What should you have? Was her question, and I said, when you go to a shop or you try on a boot, the best way I describe it is your toes should be touching, not jammed in. They should just be touching, because when the boot breaks in, the foam and the padding inside is going to pack down a bit. So your foot is going to come down and back a bit when it's inside the boot. So you're going to have that little bit of space to spread your toes and wiggle your toes. You kind of want that in there because air is the best insulation. So that's what we want in the toe box of the boot. This one here you can't see very well. It's black, but I have just a perfect amount of space. I think these are, my foot's like a natural 10. This is a US 10. This is it's a US 9, but this has formable liners. You put them in a heater. Some boots have that. They'll put this liner, this complete thing here. And this is how I pull them out, just to show you guys. Get a hold of it like this and just push forward to get your liners out. That's the easiest way I've always found. So this liner here, they'll put in an oven, convection oven. They'll warm it right up. You put it on your foot, or you put it in the boot, put it in your foot in there, and it'll conform to your foot. You can see all the tight spots around, like this is where one of the internal laces were. And this works out really good. I've had these boots for a long time. It was tough to give them up, but move on with technology. And these have, inside I have some kind of a liner. This is a Conformable, which is a company I will support them. They've been good. But you're always monkeying with stuff for the first couple of runs anyway. What works, what doesn't work. So I'll put this back in. I'll do that later. I'll pull my liners out of my ski boots, and I'll show you how I do that too. Same technique. I'm gonna get this camera over here. Where is it? Over here. Same technique. I grab the back of the boot and I push the liner forward, kind of thing. So I just push it, and again, it comes out pretty easy. So I'll just set this aside. This is a liner in a ski boot, which is very similar to a liner in a snowboard boot or whatever. I don't know what the heck that is, but whatever. Popped out. If you have a hot spot, like if you have a bone sticking in your foot or something and it's really tight in one location, what I've done in the past, I'm not going to do it to these because these fit well. I've actually cut this liner with a X-Acto knife, which is the other episodes, and then I get a pair of, those pliers or something, and I reach in and I'll pull some of the stuffing out. Some people are like, no way, I'm not doing that. That's fine, man. You can figure out another way. Some people will put a circle of foam around it so it's not hurting. But I've pulled the stuffing out of that and then put a piece of tape. Got duct tape here. Just put a piece of tape over it, fire it back in, and away you go. That's your hot spot taken care of. If you have heel lift, a lot of women then have this because inherently they have a narrower heel. The snowboard boots, female snowboard boots, are made for their narrower heel. But what I've seen guys do before, I'll thank Jonas Brook for this, he'll take a rag, and I've seen him do this. He'll tear off a piece of a rag, okay? And he'll like double this up. And what he would do is he would place this right around the heel cup. Like that kind of a shape. Okay? And then he would duct tape this on. Just take a piece of duct tape. I'm going to take 2 pieces because he does things always in twos. So he would take that piece and he'd put that around where your heel is, oh, sorry, above your heel. And he would just tape that on. 1. I'm doing this real quick for video purposes. 2. He would tape that on. Okay, so it's above your ankle. And he would just tape that on. So it's got a little bit more padding above your, like those 2 ankle bones you have. So the padding is above that. And that will hold your heel from lifting a little bit too. If this doesn't work, take it off. You can put a bigger piece of material or whatever you need to do. You can go buy foam like the weather stripping they sell at hardware stores. You can put that on, tape it on. All you're doing is taping stuff on and pulling it off if it doesn't work. If you get a good one, like you go, oh, that works amazing, 1 foot or the other foot, then put a couple layers of duct tape over it, fire it back in your boots, and away you go. It's good to go. You'll get really good at putting these in and out. I showed you how I take it out. Now I'll show you how I put it in. So I'll get this camera to catch up. So you put it in. So what I do is I put my hand in and down to take the shape of the boot. Okay, so in, down. So my hand is right in there. Then I just kind of go in like this. Whoop! Get the camera over here. Come on, it's driving me crazy today. So I'll go in and then I'll curl my foot down and hopefully it'll go in there nice and easy. So again, I'll just show you here. My hand's in like this, like a duck. Put it in, and I just go down, and it just rolls in. Rolls my fingers right at the toe of the boot, and I slowly pull my hand out. I'm pushing the heel back in, and that liner's in. I struggled a little bit, but you get real good at it. You take them out, put them back in. You just push it out, roll it back in. Okay? What else did I want to talk about? Oh, I have footbeds. These are Peterson's and these. Peterson's a good company as well. They go to a place, they heat up an insole, they heat it up, you stand on it, and they trim it down to size, and they put it in your boot. If your boot, ski boot or snowboard boot or whatever, I'll move on to this boot now because this is my latest one. If your boot, when it breaks in, your foot is going to go down on the padding and it's going to go back on the padding. That gives us the toe room that we do want in the toe of it, and you can adjust your laces and whatever to pull you in. Okay? On the bottom of the boot, if the boot really packs down and your foot is like, oh man, I really can't get it tight enough, or your foot's like sliding around or whatever, that's a volume issue. And the volume I mean is the total volume of the boot. Okay? So it's all packed down, your foot's right back down in the bottom and the back of the boot, your foot's right in there. We got to increase that volume. So what I do is I will get corkboard. I didn't grab it. You can buy it at any store, hardware store, craft store like Michael's or something like that. It's just cork, for putting up bulletin boards. It's that thin cork. I get that and I'll trace out my insole shape and I'll put it right in the bottom of the boot and then put your insole back in. Okay? So what that does, it jacks you up off the floor a little bit. We're talking, the corkboard is maybe 3 or 4 millimeters thick, okay? I say corkboard, you can use felt or you can find insoles that are a foam of some sort. I use corkboard on it because cork absorbs moisture naturally, okay? The bottom of your foot is cold and there's condensation and your foot sweats and stuff like that. It'll absorb all that. Not all of it, but it'll absorb the moisture around your foot, the sweat or whatever, or the condensation from the bottom of your boot. It'll absorb that and it'll hold it, okay? So your boots are going to be wet at the end of the day, but after you're riding, you take your liners out or you put in the hot air blower, not a hair dryer, but something that blows air in there and it'll dry your boot. You want to make sure your equipment, when you're done, take it home and dry the stuff. Like if you have to take it out and put a fan near it or whatever. I made, 100 years ago, I made this. Not 100, but it's a long time ago. This is really primitive, but it works amazing. So this is, I plug this in the wall. I think it's 6 volts. I got two computer fans on 2 tubes, and I cut the bottoms in a shape like that. So I just drop this in my boot. I plug it in, and it's just blowing cold air in my boots. Makes a little wind noise like the fan is running. And it just blows air into my boots in the toe, and then the air comes back out. I just drop these in for literally half an hour, and my boots are bone dry. So again, it's just really primitive. 2 pieces of PVC and a wooden holder with, this is just hot glue gun. Like this is just a arts and crafts do-it-yourself project. But I made this 100 years ago and it works really good. It's just a charger. I think this is off a Weed Eater or something. 2001 charger off a Black & Decker Weed Eater or something. Yeah, I made this in 2006. I put my date and name on the bottom. Anyway, so I use that forever. It works fantastic. You can buy them. I don't know what they're worth. You just make something out of hoses. I think they make the dryers in like a hardware store, and you put your boots over top of the vents. Anyway, that'll work too. So you put the cork board in the bottom, put your insole in, and it'll raise you up, and it'll compensate for that space so your boot will fit. You've increased the volume or decreased the volume for your foot. Okay. I was talking to Tiffany about socks as well. I have all kinds of socks. I've tried all kinds of different things. What I've settled in is I have 2 here. This is a Burton sock. This is a Burton snowboard sock. It is actually thin in the toe. It's thinner. The green color is thinner than this blue part. So the heel is thin, the toe is thin, gives me the space, and the heel will go back in further. And it's just a medium thickness all the way around. So if you have people say, oh, thick socks are warmer. Total lie. You do not want thick socks. Yes, they'll increase the volume and your boots will be tighter. That's also the problem. Your boots are going to be tighter and then it's squeezing your foot and you're losing circulation and your feet will get really cold. So I don't recommend thick socks ever in skiing equipment. If you can get away with a thin sock, this is like I think this is an old Hot Chilies out of the 80s or a polypropylene sock. This is thin. This is a very thin ski sock, okay? Again, it's tall to get above the boot. Polypropylene moves the sweat around quicker instead of cotton. Cotton just holds it in one spot, so your feet will actually be wet in cotton. This will, like a dry fit kind of thing. I believe Nike, I've used the Nike basketball socks. I don't know where they are right now. I should have been more prepared. But anyway, the Nike basketball socks are excellent as well. I've used those. I'll get those in another video. I'll show you. You get those at Sport Check or any sports store kind of thing. Again, just a medium thickness sock. If you can get thin, and especially in a ski boot, the thinner the better because you want the performance there. If you have a big thick sock, you'll move your foot inside the boot and there's no power or any feel going to the boot, which goes to the ski. You're losing all that control and power and feel. So the thinner sock, the better for a ski boot. A snowboard boot, your bindings are kind of holding you in. If you do have movement in your boot, like Tiffany was worried about this, she's like, well, I can lift my heel off the boot when I'm walking around. I'm like, that isn't great. You should get the boot to fit or figure it out with the bowl buckles or your laces. Figure out what tightness you need. If you have to put something around the heel, that's fine too. But your bindings are what'll hold you in. So if if your foot does have some movement, it's okay because your binding is going to pull your foot down and back in a snowboard boot. Again, don't be afraid to play around. You might come across something that's really cool. Now I'm going to talk about something weird. If anybody's skied or snowboarded and leaned back really badly and jammed their toes, woo! I tell you, it sucks. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw a picture here of a toenail. This is bad. There's a toe. Really bad picture. There's a toe. Your big toe. Usually your big toe gets hammered is what happens. It'll jam in the front of the boot and gets hammered out. Okay? You will get pain right in this area here. It'll jam in right there and right there where your nail is on the edges of the skin where the nail touches the skin. That's where it'll just get jammed up so bad. I've seen people with big, huge, nasty toes that can barely walk and stuff. And if you're skiing all the time, you can't take that. So this is November. I would recommend doing this in like October once you're done flip-flop season. What I do is, I kid you not, I take the side of my nail toe clippers and I'll clip in a groove right in the center of the nail, up and down. I just cut a little groove in my nail Flip-flop season's over, so it doesn't matter. I cut a groove in that, and what that does is it allows the nail to grow in. Okay, right now, if you keep jamming the end, the nail wants to grow wide. Okay, if you cut a little V in it, the nail will grow and it'll kind of relieve that pressure in the center. The nail will grow straighter, if not, like it won't go wide anymore. It'll kind of curl in and go straight. That takes the pressure off the sides, off here and here, off the side of your big toenail, especially is what we're talking about. Because it can, if anybody's jammed their toes or busted their sides of their toenails, oh man, it is so much pain. And then you got to keep putting your feet in ski boots or snowboard boots. It is the most painful thing. Doctors, they'll just go, oh, I got to rip your nail out and let it grow. You know how long it takes a nail to grow? Like probably a year for your nail to come back. So I wouldn't recommend that. I would recommend cutting a V as deep down as you can go. Don't cut yourself, but cut a V right in the center of the nail to relieve the pressure of it pushing out and let it come in. Cut that in like October. I know it's you only cut your toenails half as much as your fingernails, so just put a cut in it. Next time you cut it, put a cut. Just let the pressure come off, and then when you put it in your ski boots, you're good to go. I never let my nails, like this is a bad drawing. I've never let the nails go my toenails go too long anyway, because you're just asking for, like, you know, you kick the snow or you kick your binding or something, and you're just like, oh, and the pain will put you through the roof. So kind of a weird tip, but a little old lady taught me that one, and I've done it for pretty much my whole career because I jammed my toes. I leaned back skiing and just smashed my big toes, and they were just purple, disgusting. So I've done that for probably, I can't even tell you, probably 30 years I've probably done it. And I swear by it. Just the big toes. If you got some other big toenails, you can do that too. That is one of the best tips you'll ever get from this guy right here. I know it's a weird one, but I'm telling you, that's the best tip I will ever give you about feet. Try the cork board if your boots are packed down or your feet are get cold. Try a thin as sock as possible. It's okay to have heel wiggle because your binding straps will hold you down. When it comes to ski boots, you got buckles and stuff, but play with putting stuff in the liner. Don't be afraid if you have a hot spot, cut it and pull the foam out. Other than that, take care of your boots, clean them off, dry them off every time you've gone skiing. And Tiffany, I hope that helped. Other than that, I'll promote the product. I've had these a season now, and these have been fantastic. Lightweight, 2 bows. It's I can't remember what model it is, but it's a ride product, and they held up really well. So kudos to them. I'll give them a little push. I had Vans before. I rode these for probably 13 years. These are literally garbage now. They're just falling apart. Vans a fantastic product too. Never had a problem with them. And I'm a Lang ski boots because I have a Lang foot. I have a high end step. So that's just why I'm that. Anyway, we'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.